Source Award for Best Performance goes to...
Who's the winner?
Where my dogs at? DMX!
Why yo?
DMX!
So Eminem released a track which is called Rap God. He's the Rap God now?
I don't know what Eminem is.
I don't got nothing against Eminem. I got nothing against Eminem. Eminem can rap, but I care about us more. I don't want to go through. I don't want to talk about it no more. I don't want. For 22 years, every time I do an interview, they ask me about Eminem.
Surface, it looked like there was mutual respect between the two.
Eminem's track record in rap beef is legendary. He's roasted so many rappers so hard, some never fully recovered from the burn. But strangely, there was one rapper he seemed to hold back on. That man, DMX. On the surface, it looked like there was nothing but respect between them. But fans have whispered for years that something deeper might have been going on. DMX throwing shade at Eminem? That's the rumor that just won't die. See, both of them dominated the late 90s and early 2000s. Two heavyweights with massive followings, fighting for the top spot in an era where having two kings at the same time almost always meant rivalry. What really kept the rumors alive was a suspected diss DMX dropped in his 2000 smash Party Up in here. Hip-hop heads couldn't ignore bars like, I don't know who the F you think you're talking to.
And the Source Award for Best Performance goes to...
Who's the winner?
Where my dogs at? DMX!
Why yo?
DMX!
But I'm not him. I'd Slim. So watch what you do, or you're gonna find yourself buried next to someone else. And instantly link the Slim to Eminem's alter ego, Slim Shady. Then there's the second verse where DMX spits, so whatever it is you puffin' on that got you think you Superman, I got the kryptonite. Should I smack him with my D or the mic? Y'all dudes is characters, not even good actors. That had fans convinced he was talking about Eminem's track Superman. But here's where the story twists. When you line up the dates, it just doesn't add up. DMX dropped Party Up in 1999, but Superman didn't come out until 2002, 3 whole years later, which means there's no way X was firing back at a song that didn't even exist yet. Some fans even tried to flip the script, claiming Superman was Eminem's secret clap back at DMX. But that theory falls apart fast. In reality, Superman was aimed squarely at Ja Rule and Benzino, not X. And as for that Slim line, yeah, it sounds shady, literally. But back then, Slim was just slang for someone skinny. Remember, Slim Shady had only just started becoming a household name. DMX's album, and then there was X, dropped in December '99, while Eminem's Slim Shady LP had only hit the scene earlier that same year. Eminem's pop culture takeover was still fresh, so it's possible X wasn't even talking about him at all. In fact, if you dig deeper, Party Up was actually aimed at Corrupt, not Eminem.
I showed you a snapshot of one of my favorite videos. Do you think you know what that snapshot is?
I think it's the real Slim Shady.
Gina, you're wrong.
No! I'm not right?
You couldn't be wronger. Hang up on this girl. That video that I showed you, Gina, was actually DMX Party Up.
But that didn't stop fans from connecting dots that weren't really there. Then came the Grammys. Oh man. That year, Party Up lost Best Rap Solo Performance to Eminem's The Real Slim Shady, and people swore it was proof of hidden tension. To make things spicier, there's an old interview clip that keeps making the rounds where DMX seems to downplay Eminem's talent. Fans use it as proof they had beef. But if you actually watch the full interview, the narrative flips. DMX praises Eminem, calls him talented, and even checks the interviewer for trying to stir the pot. He flat out said he had no problem with M, and that the respect was mutual. And M. He showed love to DMX plenty of times. One of the most memorable moments came in 1999 at the Source Awards. Eminem had the honor of presenting X with Best Performance, and you could see it on his face.
So Eminem released a track which is called Rap God. He's the Rap God now?
I don't know what Eminem is.
He was hyped. He was grinning, howling, and even shouted, "Get at me, dog," right there on stage. As DMX hit that stage, the respect between him and Eminem kept showing itself. In 2000, literally one day before Eminem dropped his now classic Marshall Mathers LP, he gave X another shout out in an interview, naming DMX's Party Up music video as one of his absolute favorites at the time. But the real moment that proved their unity, when they joined forces against a common enemy, Ja Rule.
I know he's a talented artist. We have a good relationship, but don't ask me no random to start no random beef. All right, please don't do that. Don't do that.
Okay.
At the height of Ja's drama, when he was taking aim at just about everyone, Eminem and DMX came together for the track Go to Sleep, featured on an Obi Trice project. And let's be real, that track was pure nuclear heat. The energy was raw, grimy, and totally unfiltered. Eminem kicked it off swinging straight for the jugular, spitting, "Come on, B, show me, pick me up, throw me, lift me up, hold me just like you told me you was gonna do. That's what I thought, you're pitiful. I'm rid of you, all of you. Ja, you'll get it too." M didn't just diss Ja, he threw him in the same pile as Benzino and anyone else coming for him and his crew. Then DMX stormed in on the third verse with that unmistakable gritty growl. Dudes tried to holler but couldn't holler back. Now they gotta swallow. Everything in the sack, bloodline, and we can go track for track.
And the Source Award for Best Performance goes to... Who's the winner? Where my dogs at?
DMX!
Why yo?
Damn, dog, why'd you have to do them dudes like that? It was straight intimidation on wax, so we all know how it played out. Ja Rule made the mistake of beefing with two of the most relentless rappers in the game. A lot of people believe taking shots at Eminem might have been the final nail in Ja's rap career. Thing is, Em and Ja didn't even start with personal beef. The real fire came from Ja's long battle with 50 Cent. Signed 50 to Shady Records. Ja took it as M officially picking sides. From there, Ja decided it wasn't just 50 he was going to go after. Eminem was fair game too. Ja wasn't just going after Eminem, he was gunning for the entire Shady Aftermath squad. But instead of keeping it on wax with clever shots, he crossed a major line. In one track, Ja took aim at the one person Eminem had made. Crystal clear was off limits. His daughter Haley. He rapped, "You claim your mother's a crackhead and Kim is a known so what's Haley gonna be when she grows up?" That line was like striking a match in a room full of gasoline. Eminem, who's always been fiercely protective of his daughter, lost it. He rounded up the Shady family and came back with a brutal diss called Haley's Revenge. The song opened with a clip of young Haley being asked what she wanted to be when she grew up, and she replied, "I don't know, but I don't want to grow up to be like Ja Rule's little dirty kids." That alone had people's jaws dropping. From there, it was all-out lyrical warfare. Eminem went straight for the throat with lines like, "Bring Daddy's Oscar, we're gonna shove it up Ja Rule." He also roasted Ja for trying to ride Tupac's legacy, something critics had been accusing him of for years, spitting, "You on PD, you a replica guy. If he was alive, you would never get by. All you do is cry, B, keep it real. Life is more than imitating and eating pills." But M wasn't done. He teamed up with 50 Cent for Hail Mary, flipping one of Pac's most iconic tracks into a lyrical weapon aimed right at Ja. The message? Crystal clear.
I showed you a snapshot of one of my favorite videos. Do you think you know what that snapshot is?
I think it's the real Slim Shady.
Gina, you're wrong.
No! I'm not right?
You couldn't be wronger. Hang up on this girl. That video that I showed you, Gina, was actually DMX Party Up.
Come at me if you want, Shady. If Pac was still here, he would never ride with a Ja. The Shady camp buried Ja under a landslide of diss tracks, and the effect was undeniable. Ja's once blazing career started to fade fast, especially as 50 Cent exploded and took over the early 2000s, leaving Ja struggling to keep up. By 2004, Eminem took a step back and spoke on the whole feud with a more reflective edge in Like Toy Soldiers. He admitted he actually tried to squash things until Ja crossed the one boundary that couldn't be forgiven. As M put it, that Ja-ish, I tried to squash it, it was too late to stop it. There's a certain line you just don't cross, and he crossed it. I heard him say Haley's name on a song, and I just lost it. Even after M said he was done with the drama, the damage was permanent. Ja's momentum was never the same. He went from running the charts to struggling just to stay relevant in a rap scene now dominated by 50 Cent, G-Unit, and the whole Shady/Aftermath machine.
And you never felt you needed a hype man or wanted a hype man?
Actually, my first hype man was Ja Rule.
Oh, I thought it was dragging on.
Nope.
But M couldn't resist one last jab. In 2018, on his Kamikaze album, he let off a stray in Ja's direction, spitting, "I hear you talking, Ish, I'm just too big to respond to it. God forbid I forget. Go and jump out the window. Somebody better childproof it." A reminder that even years later, M still had the ammo locked and loaded. Because if I lose it, we can rewind to some old Ja Rule-ish, and I can remind first how I do this. And just like that, the focus shifts, because before all the shots and back and forth, DMX and Ja Rule were actually cool. Real cool. They weren't just industry associates, they were friends. DMX even played a big role in Ja's early come-up. Back in the day, Ja was rolling with X as his hype man, feeding off that wild stage energy and learning how to work a crowd. Their bond only tightened when Ja landed his Def Jam deal through Irv Gotti, who at the time was pulling strings behind the scenes as a producer and exec. Irv had a vision for something big at Def Jam, and Ja Rule was a key piece of that puzzle. Ja's first real debut on wax came on November 28, 1995, when Mick Geronimo dropped Time to Build, produced by Irv and featuring Ja, Jay-Z, and DMX. Just 2 years later, in '97, DMX inked his own deal with Def Jam. Around that same time, Jay-Z and Ja were already on the label, and with Irv Gotti orchestrating things, the three were shaping up to be a tight trio ready to take over the rap game. They were shaping up to be a serious force. Irv Gotti even launched his own imprint under Def Jam, Murder Inc.'s Records, with Ja as the label's shining star.
I never had a problem with Jay's success, never had a problem with X's success. You know, I rooted for them, I cheered for them, you know, but I never got the same love in return. It was one of those things like, I guess they was too big to be in my video.
DMX and Ja kept the momentum going, linking up again on November 4th, 1997, for Mick Geronimo's track Usual Suspects, keeping their chemistry alive. But by the next year, things started to shift. On May 19th, 1998, DMX dropped It's Dark and Hell is Hot, a classic debut that instantly took over the streets. It moved over 250,000 copies in its first week. And just like that, DMX became the hottest name in hip-hop. Then came the beginning of the tension. Later that same year, December 22nd, 1998, X followed up with Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood. On it was Blackout featuring Jay-Z, and another track, We Don't Give a F, where X slipped in some subliminal shots at Jay. That was the first real sign things between them were starting to sour.
I really wanted to get away from them two and show the world that I don't need them two to make hit records. You understand? Like, I don't need them two to make myself a success.
Meanwhile, Ja was gearing up for his own solo breakout. On March 2nd, 1999, he dropped Holla Holla, a straight-up banger that caught fire, peaking at number 35 on the Billboard Hot 100. But as the track blew up, more and more people, fans, industry insiders, and even DMX started pointing out how Ja's flow, delivery, and raw energy sounded a whole lot like X. It was as if Ja had pulled straight from DMX's playbook. The tension spiked when it came time to shoot the Holla Holla music video. Ja invited both DMX and Jay-Z to be in it, but at the last minute, they backed out. According to Ja, it felt like they thought they were too big to show up for him.
We're talking about DMX?
We're talking about DMX, Crackman X, okay? This is out of line, and he never will be able to, and it's hurting him right now that I'm bigger than him. It's killing him right now that I'm bigger than him.
That move cut deep, and it lit a fire under him to prove he could stand on his own without their cosign. But DMX didn't see it as ambition. He saw it as betrayal and disrespect. And on top of that, he felt Ja was straight up stealing his identity. And then, things really popped off in August 2002. By 2002, DMX was sick of being asked about Ja Rule in every single interview. It was starting to really get under his skin. So one day he called into Power 105.1 and just let loose. He flat out said it was going down between him and Ja. Not long after, either that night or the next morning, Ja fired back by calling into Hot 97. He mocked X by calling him Crackman X and claimed DMX couldn't touch him, lyrically or otherwise. Then Irv Gotti jumped into the mix. He called Hot 97 too, siding with Ja and saying Ja had every right to defend himself and diss DMX. That didn't sit right with X, who was out in LA filming a movie at the time. When he heard about it, he called another station and told Irv straight up to stay in his lane. This was between him and Ja and nobody else. It was during this period that DMX dropped what many saw as the real reason behind his shots at Ja. He hinted that Ja was involved with men, suggesting he wasn't being real about who he was. That comment took the beef from music into deeply personal territory. And then, things got serious. The friendship was long gone, and what started as subliminal jabs had turned into real street drama.
You know he be too, right?
No.
Yeah, man, some nigga that was styling his clothes and I got the inside information, man. Some nigga that was styling his clothes for one of them shows, got him ecstasy that one night and f***ed him. Man, Ja Rule is I'm telling you, dog. Oh, my mama. Oh, my mama.
One day, DMX was in his office with his wife and young son. It was supposed to be a normal day. But as soon as X left the building, Ja rolled up with a crew, about 30 deep. They stormed the office, supposedly looking for X. According to DMX, Ja waited until he was gone just to show up and try to act hard in front of people, trying to fake like he was really about that life. But X claimed he saw straight through it, and the tension didn't cool down. Not long after, both men ended up at the same airport in Chicago, and things were about to get even more heated. That Chicago airport run-in was unavoidable. They crossed paths face to face, and it was on sight. Ja stepped right up to X, pressing him for answers on why DMX wasn't rocking with him anymore. But X wasn't about to give him a friendly explanation. He got nose-to-nose with Ja, barking in his face as the argument blew up fast. Hours later, DMX tapped into his street ties. He made a call to the leader of the Latin Kings in Chicago, and by the time Ja was ready to leave the airport that night, the parking lot was locked down. 10 cars deep, full of goons, waiting for the word to move. The whole area was on freeze mode. Ja, on the other hand, had barely any backup. Just him and maybe a couple of people. When he saw that line of cars and realized exactly who they were with, the pressure hit heavy. DMX had all the leverage, and Ja knew it. X could have had him handled right there on the spot, but instead he decided to let it slide. According to X, he spared him and let him walk away that night. But the bad blood didn't go anywhere. It only got worse. Then in 2004, things took a wild turn for DMX when real-life trouble came knocking. He got arrested and slapped with a long list of charges: drug possession, criminal impersonation, criminal mischief, menacing, and even pretending to be a federal agent. To make it even crazier, reports claimed he tried to carjack someone during the whole ordeal. The situation spiraled completely out of control, and by November 18th, 2005, DMX found himself sentenced to 70 days in Rikers Island, the truce. Here's where things took a turn no one saw coming. While DMX was serving time in Rikers, Irv Gotti actually pulled up to visit him in jail. His mission? To end the battle between Ja and X once and for all. And surprisingly, X agreed. Just like that, years of tension started to fade, and both men decided to move forward. Then came a moment hip-hop fans, especially the old heads who remembered their early days, will never forget. On September 23, 2009, at VH1's hip-hop honors ceremony, DMX and Ja Rule ended up in the same building. Cameras caught the exact moment they embraced, officially squashing one of rap's longest-standing beefs. And they didn't stop there. A couple months later, the two hit the booth together, both featuring on NORE's track Stay Flawless. That was the final sign. The beef was ending and the chapter was closed. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to drop a comment, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this with your people. And I'll catch you on the next one.